The screen is visible?
Yes, ma'am, it's visible.
Thank you, ma'am. Okay. So I welcome all the participants. And this is the final day of this course, cybersecurity. Okay, we'll see on the topic IoT security, that is security aspects in Internet of Things. Okay. And the objective of the session is to make you known about the basics of security aspects in the Internet of Things. Okay. And the outcome, the students will be able to understand the security aspects in the Internet of Things. Okay. And these are the outlines of today's session. We will have the introduction of IoT. Then we will see what are the need to have a secure IoT device that we use, okay, and the importance of security in IoT, and we'll see the examples of security issues. Okay, what are all the examples that we are facing in day-to-day life, okay, and what is meant by a security, what is meant by information security, and what are the challenges in IoT, okay, and the security concepts, and we'll be seeing the IoT security design rules, okay, and the common security issues. We'll be discussing some common security issues. The last thing I will be discussing about the OWASP, that is Open Web Application Security Project, that is OWASP. Okay. OWASP, the top 10 IoT vulnerabilities in the year 2014. So some list of 10 vulnerabilities are there, and how to overcome these weaknesses, we'll be seeing that. Okay. With that, we'll wind up the session. In yesterday's session, we have seen some introduction about the IoT and what are the applications and what are the advantages. We have seen all that, okay. And IoT is nothing but the things, that is the physical objects will be connected, and each device will be holding IP address for the internet connectivity. So through this internet, the informations gathered by the connected devices or the physical objects will be communicated with the other objects or the other connected devices and other internet-enabled devices and systems. That is called to be the whole thing is going to be called as the Internet of Things, that we call it as IoT. Okay. See here in the real world scenario, we are having a World Wide Web, that is internet, and mobile internet and Internet of Things. So all are combined together in our reality. Okay? So all we need is that the information is a key derivative things. Okay? So Internet of Things is going to have the sharing of information along the internet. So the device, each device should be have some identification. It is the help of the unique IP address, and it is the device is going to sense the information, pass the information. That information will be stored to the cloud whenever needed. The user, whenever need to retrieve the particular information, they will be processing retrieving the information from the cloud. Okay. And the information is going to be all about in all kinds of information that will be collected from various sources. The information could be a telemetry, that is health information, or rocket information, energy information, or aviation. Like this, so many information can be stored on the cloud. Okay. And we are having some increasing amount of devices that are connected together to collect the information or data. So for all these such kinds, we need to concern about the security concern and privacy and safety. So you see some what are the secure IoT devices that we use. Okay. So here you can see Mirai malware. So malware is nothing but the malicious software So a malware called Mirai. So this is one kind of malware that turns the network devices running into remotely controlled bots that can be used as a part of the botnet and the large-scale network attacks. So this Mirai malware is an attack. Okay, so it has been observed that the variants of a new malware named as Mirai. This targeting the Internet of Things devices, IoT devices such as printers. So the devices could be a printer or a video camera, routers, smart TVs, which are all spreading in the world. Okay? So the main motive of this Mirai malware attack is that it will be targeting the IoT device. So this malware is capable of scanning those network devices or the IoT devices and try to compromise these systems, especially those protected with the default credentials or hard-coded username password. Okay. So this malware is capable of performing some following functions. That is, they will be this malware attack is going to compromise the IoT systems with the default usernames and passwords, and they will be creating the botnets of the compromised devices. And they can also use the compromised devices to launch the DDoS attack, that is distributed denial of service attack. Okay? And this malware is, will also do the function of making the network connections to receive the commands from further attacks. So what we can learn from this Mirai attack is that we should not use default password for all the default users. So for every login system, you need to go by training or using the strong passwords. Okay? So if possible, do not allow the configuration interface from the internet side. Okay? And if the IoT devices are used only in the organization, you should not expose those devices to the public internet. Okay? And if there is a need to use from the internet, open only the necessary ports. So what you are going to use, that port alone can be opened and you can go further processing. Okay? And use the non-default ports wherever possible. Okay? So what is the importance of security in IoT? Okay, so in IoT, one of the words, the things, Internet of Things, the word things, or otherwise called as entity or physical objects that rely on the software, okay, and that software will interact with the environments. Okay? So if the security issues is migrate from the shadow world to the real world through the Internet of Devices. Okay? So Internet of Things, that is IoT, is everywhere in every field. Almost it is found in everywhere in every field. Okay? So that will use the software and connections to the network. Okay? The security breach. So in every field means it can also be used in agriculture and in building management. In everyday lives, we can see IoT, and we can also see the smart in designing a smart homes, cities, telemedicine, and healthcare. So everyday things are getting connected. So for the outcome of the smarter, we can becoming very smarter in the future, okay, because of IoT. Okay. So there are some examples of security issues. Okay. So if you are using Apple HomeKits, okay, so your door locks and car locks is controlled by the internet or something that is connected to the internet. Okay, so when the hacker simply unlocks your door house or unlock your car, it it will result in a pathetic situation. Okay. Okay. Coming on to the home appliances. Okay. So if the house appliances are connected to the internet, that will burn, or the hacker will burn the physical devices. If somebody can make your printer, that is the devices, internet, that is connected devices like printers ban, or your microwave oven can ban, or your fridge may burn also. Okay, so the hacker can change the software and control in a different way. Something might actually blow up or happen. It may also even burn the particular electrical appliances. Once the house appliances are connected to the internet devices. Okay, so we have to be very careful in these such cases. Okay, so coming on the medical devices, imagine hacking pacemaker. Somebody may die because of the hacking of the medical devices also. So you may have some medical devices which are controlled by the wireless. Somebody on the street may have a problem also, so it will harm the people. Okay, um, so coming on to the public utilities, you can shut down the hacker can even shut down the power grid or the water supply. So connecting all such devices, home appliances or any devices to the internet is really really very dangerous. So we should be very careful in handling all these appliances. Okay. So next thing is security and privacy. Okay. So see in this picture you can see in the first whatever the things. The things is nothing but the device is going to be get connected. Okay. So they are getting connected for sharing the information. So that information will be stored onto the cloud. Okay. So whenever there is a need to retrieve from the cloud, the user will be retrieving those informations. Okay. So next, coming on to the mobile gateway, the mobile will be connected to the see here you can see the Wi-Fi access. The access point will be with the help of these access points, mobile data will be getting the internet access, and whatever the informations that can be stored on the cloud also. So any enterprise or any organization can also share the information and store the information onto the cloud. Okay. So the main thing is security of the information. So that should be provided. Okay. So what is security? That is the quality or the state of being secure. Okay. That is free from danger. That is called as security. So any successful organization should have multiple layers of security in place. So we should have some multiple layers of security, that is physical security, personal security, operational security, communication security, network security, and information security. Okay. So what is information security? That's providing protection of information. So providing the protection of information and its critical elements, including the systems, computer systems, or any devices, hardware that used to store the information and transmit the information. So what are the necessary tools to be to secure the information? So that is, we need to have policies and awareness to be taught to the all peoples, and training should be given, education and technology should be shared. Okay. So with all these we can go for providing security to the information. So what we have stored on the cloud. Okay. And there are some challenges or the issues in IoT. Okay. Low friction human interaction, unique device identification, and device authenticity, device user association, and the nature of the data. So more challenges are added on to this, having limited encryption capabilities and having the resources, limited resources like RAM, ROM, and having the limited clock synchronization and firmware that must be upgraded from time to time. So here you can have the security concepts. So regarding the security concepts, you might have core security concepts and the design security concepts. Okay. So already we have seen security means we need to follow the CIA traits. CIA traits means confidentiality, integrity, and availability. Okay. So more add on to the security concept, we are having authentication, authorization, and accountability. Okay. So coming on to the design security concepts, there are so many
concepts are there. That is, we need to know the design, defense in depth, complete mediation, and then psychological acceptability, least privilege, open design, weakest link. We have to get through all these design security concepts also. Okay. So this all about CIA trade. Okay, CIA means confidentiality, integrity, and availability. So confidentiality means to ensure the protection against the unauthorized access or the use of the confidential information. And integrity means to ensure the accuracy and completeness of the information to protect any business process. Okay. Availability means to ensure the information and vital services accessible whenever the user is in need or required. Okay. So let's see some of the IoT security design rules. Okay. So the security in and it cannot be added later. So from the preliminary itself, we have to build the security rules. Okay. And keep security mechanisms in a simple manner. Okay. And use the existing standards. Okay. And obscurity does not provide security. Yeah, obscurity means it is nothing but the state of being unknown. It is unimportant. Okay, so which is unknown is does not going to provide any security. Okay, encrypt sensitive data at rest and in transit, and use well-studied cryptographical building blocks. That is, cryptographical means we need to go by applying some encryption, decryption algorithms. Okay, and identity and access management must be the part of the design. Okay, and develop a realistic threat model also. Okay, so we'll see some security, common security issues. Okay, uh, securing the web interface, mobile interface, and cloud interface. It's a very important thing. Okay, and we should not allow default credentials. Okay, for all the applications wherever we have the login system, we need to use different login usernames and passwords. That's the main thing to be followed. Okay, and second thing, assume device accessed internally and externally. And credentials should not be stored in a plain text, nor travel in unencrypted channels. Okay, the usernames and passwords should not be written in any text messages or any plain text. Okay, you should not write it down anywhere. Okay, and protect against account enumeration and implement the account lockout system also. Okay, and protect against the cross-site script and CSR or RF and SQL injection. Okay. Implement an IAM and IRM system. Implement an IAM. What is mean by this is nothing but identity creation. So whatever the things you are going to use, the devices, the device should have an identity and authentication and authorization. Okay. See here, what is meant by IDM? So in this picture, you can see IDM system. Okay, so IDM system means
Identity management is IDM system. That is identity management. M refers to management, which describes the management of individual identities and their authentication and authorization and the role played and the privileges within or across the system, and the enterprise boundaries with the goal of increasing security and productivity while decreasing the cost, downtime, and repetitive tasks. Okay. So here all the devices in the first phase, all the devices are connected. Okay. So for the connected devices, it should have a unique ID. So the IDM system will provide the unique ID, that is IP address. Okay, and the device should be authenticated. Okay, on the other part, we should be verifying the authenticity and register the device what we are using the IoT device. Okay. Next, verify and
verify the identity of the user, as well as register the user who are all using that IoT device, and authenticate that user, prove possession of the device. Okay, that should be the proof should be
given for the particular device, and create the relationship between the user and the device. So all these such things should be done. So register the user, authenticate the user,
provide the proof for the usage of device, and create the relationship between the user and the device. Okay, and next thing, you have to generate the authentication token. Okay, so tokens is that if the token validity is gone, you have to refresh the particular access token to the device. Okay, verify the device, authentication, access the token validity, and scope of this device, that is the providing the authorization, and associate the data to the particular person. Okay, if the token expired, then you have to go for negotiating new access token, and new access token will be given from the cloud. Okay, so refresh the token, store the token.
okay. So here the user will be sharing the data and revoking the tokens also. So tokens in the sense getting the privilege to access the data,
like that. Okay. Okay. So revoking the token or sharing the data will be done with the help of the protocols. So HTTP protocol, MQTT. MQTT protocol is nothing but a message queuing telemetry transport, which is an open OASIS and ISO standard. Okay, it's not a protocol; it's a standard. It is a lightweight and publish subscribe new network protocol that transports message between the devices, which is this MQTT is a standard as well as a network protocol that transports the messages between the devices. So what is SASL? It is nothing but the simple authentication security layer. Okay, simple authentication and security layer, which is a framework for providing the authentication and data security services in the connection oriented protocols via the replaceable mechanisms. Okay. So with this protocols, we can go for removing the tokens also.
Okay. So next thing, coming on to the network services, you have to go for ensuring the necessary ports. What are all the necessary ports that are going to be open, and
the ports are open ports are used. Okay, and ensure that services
are not vulnerable to the buffer overflow and
fuzzing attacks. Okay, we should ensure all these such things, such kinds of things. Okay, and ensure the services which are
not vulnerable to the DOS attacks also.
Okay, we should be very careful with the ports that are open, and the services which are not vulnerable to the buffer overflow and fuzzing attacks and device attacks also. Okay. So coming on to the transport and encryption, we should be ensure that the data and the credentials are encrypted while in transmitting the information. Okay, and use the secure encrypted channels
for transmitting the information from one network to another network, or from one device to another device. Okay, use good key lengths and good algorithms. Okay, for encryption. Okay, and protect against the replay attacks also.
So coming on to the privacy as a part of the design. So collect only the minimum necessary data for the functionality of the device. Okay, ensure any sensitive data collected is properly protected with the encryption. Ensure the device properly, which protects the personal data also. So we have to choose appropriate device which protects our personal device data also. Okay. So software, coming on to software and firmware, ensure your firmware does not contain hard-coded credentials or sensitive data. Use a secure channel to transmit the firmware during the upgrades or updates. Okay, and ensure the update is signed and verified before allowing the update. Okay, and do not send the public key with the firmware. Use a hash coded hash codes. Okay, and ensure your repositories that should not contain the private keys. And coming on to the physical security, ensure the physical access to your device is controlled. Physical access to your device should be controlled well. Okay, and accessible USB or SD ports can be a weakness. Okay, and physical security, it can be easily disassembled to access the internal storage also. If local data is sensitive, consider encrypting the data. Okay. So here you can see 70% of the IoT devices are very vulnerable to the cyber attacks. Okay. Okay, we'll see IoT devices which could be vulnerable. Okay, thermostat. So this kind of device, IoT devices, used to control the home temperatures and office temperatures. Okay. So this device will be assigned to the IP address. Okay. And next vulnerable devices, watches and fitness monitors. So which is useful for exposing the personal health data. Okay. And other vulnerable IoT devices are smart cars, biometrics, wireless pacemakers, and other implanted device for monitoring health. Okay. And these are some of the elements or listed here need to be considered. There is IoT devices, the cloud, mobile application, network interfaces, software, use of encryption, algorithms, and the use of authentication, physical security, and USB ports. Okay, and here are some of the list 10 count listed OWASP. That is for the in the very first slide itself. I told that OWASP is Open Web Application Security Project. Okay. Some top 10 IoT vulnerabilities listed in the year 2014. Your first project is insecure web interface, insufficient authentication and authorization, insecure network services, lack of transport, encryption, integrity verification, and privacy concerns, insecure cloud interface, insecure mobile interface, insufficient security configurability, and insecure software, firmware, and poor physical security. Coming on to the first project, that is insecure web interface. So consider anyone who has access to the web interface, including the internal user and the external user. This is going to be an agent, and the attack is going to be, the attacker may use the uses weak credentials, captures their plain text credentials, or enumerates the accounts to access the web interface. So attack could be from the external users or from the internal users. Okay. So an insecure web interface can be present when issues such as account enumeration, the lack of account lockout, or weak credentials are present. Okay. Fine. Regarding the technical impacts, this insecure web interfaces can result in the data loss or corruption of the information, or lack of accountability or denial of access. So all these will be leading to a complete device takeover. Okay. So regarding the business impact, we'll consider the business impact of poorly secured web interfaces that could lead to a compromised devices along with the compromised customers. Okay. So we have to go for checking with the account enumeration, weak default credentials, and the credentials exposed in the network traffic. Okay, and cross-site scripting, SQL injection, session management, account lockout. Okay, so you can see regarding this first insecure web interface project. So what are the obstacles or default usernames and password, no account lockout, and yes, cross-site scripting vulnerabilities, SQL injection vulnerabilities. So to tackle this obstacle, we have a solution as that allowing the default usernames and password to be changed. Okay, and enable the account lockout and conduct web application assessments. So testing should be conducted. Okay. So how do I make my web interface in a secured manner?
Okay. So how do I overcome all these insecure web interfaces? So it requires, as we have in the previous slide, we have seen the solution that is all listed here. Okay, default passwords and default usernames to be changed during the initial setup itself. Okay, that's the main thing. And ensuring the password recovery mechanisms are robust and do not supply an attacker with the information indicating a valid account. And you should also ensure the web interface is not susceptible to the SQL injection or cross-site scripting. Okay? Ensuring that credentials that are not exposed in internal or external network traffic. Ensure the weak passwords that should not be allowed. Okay, and ensure the account lockout after 3 to 5 failed login attempts. Okay, so all these should be the recommendations to make into take into account for the web interface secure, to take web interface in a secure manner. Okay, and the next one is insufficient authentication and authorization. Okay, so consider anyone who has access to the web interface or mobile interface or cloud interface, including the internal and external resources or users. Okay, so the attacker can uses the weak password or insecure password recovery mechanisms, purely protected credentials or lack of granular access control to access the particular interface. Okay. Okay, let me move on to the checklist. Okay. So there will be a lack of password complexity, poorly protected credentials, and lack of two-factor authentication. Insecure password recovery. So this two-factor authentication is a security system that requires two separate distinct forms of identification in order to access something. Okay, so two-factor authentication increases the safety of online accounts by requiring two types of information from the user, such as password or personal identification number, that is PIN number, email account, or a code sent by text or fingerprint before the user can log in. So the first factor is the password, and the second factor includes the text with the code sent to your smartphone or biometrics using your fingerprint or retina. Like that's called as a two-factor authentication. Okay. So insecure password recovery, privilege escalation, lack of role-based access control. So what are the weaknesses, that is obstacles of weak password, using weak password and password recovery mechanisms or insecure? Okay, no two-factor authentication available. So for all these, to overcome all these obstacles, here are the solution given. So require some strong passwords and complex passwords to be arranged, and verify that password recovery mechanisms are secure or in a secured manner. Okay, and the last one, implement the two-factor authentication wherever possible. So for all these skins, in the previous slide we have seen some solutions that is given here. What are the recommendations? How do I make my authentication and authorization in a better manner? Sufficient authorization and authentication requires ensuring the strong passwords, ensuring the access control wherever necessary, and ensuring the credentials which are properly protected, and implement the two-factor authentication wherever possible, ensuring the password recovery mechanisms, okay, ensuring the re-authentication is required for sensitive features, ensuring the options that are available for configuring the password controls also. So coming to the third one, insecure network services. We'll move on to the obstacles. So what are the checklists we need to have? There's vulnerable services regarding the insecure network services. Buffer overflow, open ports via UPnP. So what is UPnP? This universal plug and play. universal plug and play. So which describes the devices that work with the computer system as soon as they are connected.
Okay, that is called as UP and P. Universal plug and play. Okay. And the next thing, exploitable UDP services, denial of services, DOS via the network device fuzzing. Okay. The next, that is, what are the obstacles
Having unnecessary ports are open.
how to make the solution for that? Minimized usage of open network ports. Okay. And the next obstacle is ports exposed to the internet via the UPnP. Okay. Universal plug and play. Okay. And do not utilize this UPnP. That's the solution for this problem. And network services vulnerable to denial of service. Review should be made for the network services for which are causing the vulnerabilities. Okay. And these are some of the recommendations. How do I secure my network services? I have to go for ensuring only the necessary ports that are exposed and available, and ensuring the services which are not vulnerable to buffer overflow and fuzzing attacks, ensuring the services which are not vulnerable to DOS attacks, okay, and ensuring the network ports or services that are exposed to the internet. Okay, the next one is lack of transport encryption. Okay, these are the checklist. That is, checklist means we are facing the problem. Unencrypted services via the internet, unencrypted services via the local network, poorly implemented there is SSL, secured socket layer, TLS is transport layer security, okay? And misconfigured SSL or TLS.
So that's it. Or sensitive information is stored in clear text. So for this, can have solution is encrypting the communication between the system components. And the second obstacle is SSL and TLS is not available or not properly configured.
So we have to maintain all those SSL and TLS implementations, and proprietary encryption protocols are used. These one such obstacle faced. Okay, for those obstacle, we need the solution like do not use a proprietary encryption solutions. Okay. Next solution for or recommendation for the transport encryption is that is ensuring the data which is encrypted using the protocols such as SSL and TLS while transiting networks, and ensuring only accepted encryption standards, okay, and ensuring other industry standard encryption. Okay.
Next one is privacy concerns. The checklist are given here. A collection of unnecessary personal information. So how does my device present privacy concerns? So you need to go for checking the privacy concerns, which includes identifying all data types that are being collected by the device, its mobile applications, and any cloud interfaces. The device and its various components should only collect what is necessary to perform its function. It should not collect unnecessary information, personal information from the person. Okay, and reviewing who has access to personal information that is collected also. Certain types of data. So for that, we can have the solution is give the end user the ability to decide what data is collected. Okay, the same thing. Solution just now we have seen. We move on to the next. So coming on to the next, this is the project is insecure cloud interface. The checklist is account enumeration and no account logout credential exposed in network traffic. So for those cloud interface secure,
what we should do is that determine if the default username and password can be changed during the initial product setup, and determining if the specific user account is locked out for after 3 to 4, which is failed login attempts, and determining if valid accounts can be identified using password recovery mechanisms, and removing the
request forgery. Okay. So for those insecure cloud interface, the obstacles or interface are not reviewed for security vulnerabilities. For that case, the solution is that a security assessment of all cloud interfaces. If you are using the weak passwords, we have to go for implementing the two-factor authentication. If there is no case of two-factor authentication is present, oh, sorry, if the case is no two-factor authentication, then we have to go for implementing two-factor authentication. If the obstacle is weak passwords present, then we have to go for using the strong and complex passwords. Okay, and the same thing is given here. We move on to the second problem. There is insecure mobile interface. The checklists are account enumeration, no account lockout, and credentials exposed in network traffic. Okay. So here the weak password is the same thing. For in case of mobile also, the weak passwords are present. We have to go for requiring or usage of strong and complex passwords. If there is no two-factor authentication, then we have to implement the two-factor authentication. If there is no account lockout mechanism, we have to implement the account lockout after failed login attempts also. Okay, and the same thing is given here. Coming to the 8th project, there is insufficient security configurability. Okay, so the checklist or no security monitoring, no security login, lack of permission model, granular permission model, lack of password security options also. So the password security options are not available. If this is the obstacle, then we have the solution that's making the security logging available. Okay. If the encryption option is or not available, then we have to allow the selection of encryption options. If there is no option to enable the security logging, then we have to notify the end users in regards to the security alerts. Okay. The same thing is given here. Coming on to the 9th project, insecure software or firmware, the checklist are given as encryption not used to fetch the update. The problems are updating file not encrypted, update file is not encrypted, update not verified before the uploading, firmware contains sensitive information, no obvious update functionality. So updating the servers or not secure means we have a solution that sign the updates. Okay, and device updates transmitted without encryption means we have the solution like verify the updates before installing the process. Okay, and device updates or not signed means we have to go overcome with the solution like secure the update servers. Coming on to the next 10th project is poor physical security. So checklist is that is checklist means the problem arises. Okay, access to the software via the USB ports. Okay, and security is unnecessary usage of external ports like USB ports. Okay, so the solution is that minimize the usage of external ports or USB ports. Okay, and obstacle access to operating system through remove media. So for that we can have the solution is properly protect the operating system. Inability to limit the administrative capabilities, we can have go for including ability to limit administrative capabilities. Okay. This is our point of the session. So some all theoretical things we have dealt with. Okay. Fine. We have come to the end of the whole course. Okay. Let me propose the vote of thanks for this course, cyber security. Okay. So on behalf of computer science and engineering department, I took great privilege to propose the vote of thanks. I extend a special thanks to our principal madam, Dr. C. Vasanthanagi madam, for lending her great support in organizing this TechU3 sponsored online student training program on cybersecurity.
for all the streams of branches in our campus. I thank you, madam. And I extend my humble thankfulness to our convener of this program and head of the Department of Computer Science and Department, Dr. A.M. Kalpana Madam, for her constant encouragement and support to organize this course in a successful manner. I thank you, Madam. And I thank Mr. V. Manigandan sir for lending technical assistant and support throughout the completion of this program. I thank you, sir. And I thank the student volunteers from the final year CSE department, Shanmuraj, Kavya, Tarani, to carry for assisting, for technically assisting me to carry out this program in a successful manner. Thank you all, students. I thank my Almighty God for giving me enormous strength and enough support from my family side also to complete this program in a successful manner. Last but not the least, I thank all the participants for their fullest cooperation throughout this completion of this program. I thank all the participants for patient listening. And starting from the July, we have started this course from July 1st till this October 3rd. We are running this and closing this program by this day. I thank you all for patient listening, for the fullest, for extending fullest cooperation in closing this course also. Okay. I hope you have benefited out of this program. And you'll be given feedback forms to be filled. So kindly fill the feedback forms and submit it back. Okay, that is more important to refine the program in a better manner in the conduction of the future programs, any future programs. Okay, and I insist every participant to prepare well for the post-training assessment of that is going to be held on third week of this month. Okay, so this NASCOM certification will be very helpful for the students in case of their placement, in facing their placement. Okay, okay. Thank you, one and all. Thank you so much. Okay, thank you all. Tarani, you can stop recording. Okay. Let me discuss regarding their post-training assessment. Students, please wait. Give it